The year is 500, and a crazed monk has made the long journey from India to China, and to this day the reason why remains one of the greatest mysteries in Buddhism. He has found a cave, and has sat for the past 9 years gazing at a wall. Some say he's the inventor of Kung Fu. Others say his very eyelids became the seeds of the first tea plants. Either way, his name is Bodhidharma, and he is the founder of Zen. At the foot of the Bodhi tree, upon attaining his enlightenment, it is said that the Buddha was speechless. The truth he had discovered could not be put into words. To attempt to do so would be to spoil it, for the truth was complete in itself. Anyone who tries to describe the path is forced to invoke paradox, to desire the end of desire, to resist resistance, to struggle for peace. It is the ultimate double bind. However, the story goes that a deity saw Gautama, the Buddha, reluctant to speak, but he begged him to try nevertheless. Otherwise, he said, the world will be lost. And so, moved by compassion, Gautama began to teach, and the wheel of the Dharma began to turn, and Bodhidharma came to China. Shengguang was a man caught in the spiritual paradox, and he sought out Bodhidharma's cave in an attempt to escape the trap. But Bodhidharma ignored him, and so he waited outside until snow had piled up to his waist. Bodhidharma asked what on earth was he doing, and he said he wanted him to open the gate of the elixir of universal compassion to liberate all beings. He wanted the truth. Again, Bodhidharma dismissed him. But Shengguang was not a man to give up so lightly, and to prove his resolve, he chopped off his own left arm and presented it to Bodhidharma. Now, this was an offer that he couldn't refuse, so Bodhidharma took him in and gave him the name Huike. And one day, under his tutelage, Huike said, "My mind is not at peace. I beg you, Master, pacify it for me." And Bodhidharma replied, "Bring me your mind and I will pacify it." He said, "I have looked for my mind, but I cannot find it." "There, I have pacified it for you." And so Huike realized enlightenment and found his true freedom. And the history of Zen is composed of similarly fabulous stories of the direct transmission of the truth between master and student. And in the year 800, we meet another of those masters, Huangpo. Huangpo is a bit of a madman, and to escape the paradox, he proposes a radical claim. He says that your ordinary, everyday mind is the highest truth. It is the ultimate reality. He says, you are fundamentally complete in every respect. The mind is the Buddha. The truth is right in front of you, but if you try to grasp it, you make a mistake. It is like the eye trying to see itself, or a knife trying to cut itself. It is that which you see before you. Begin to reason about it, and you at once fall into error. It is like the boundless void which cannot be fathomed or measured. Indeed, the attempt to solve the cosmic problem is itself the cause of the cosmic problem. The one mind alone is the Buddha, and there is no distinction between the Buddha and sentient beings, but that sentient beings are attached to forms and so seek externally for Buddhahood. By their very seeking they lose it, for that is using the Buddha to seek for the Buddha, and using mind to grasp mind. Even though they do their utmost for a full aeon, they will not be able to attain it. They do not know that if they put a stop to conceptual thought and forget their anxiety, the Buddha will appear before them, for this mind is the Buddha, and the Buddha is all living beings. Some 400 years later, and 4,000 miles away, I believe a German Roman Catholic friar touched this same spiritual nerve. Because at the centre of the Christian life, for those that follow him who is meek and lowly in heart, there is the cultivation of humility. The biblical icon of humility is poverty, as when Jesus says, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." When St. Augustine is asked what is the way of Christianity, he replies, "The first part is humility, the second humility, the third humility." And of the desert monk, St. Anthony the Great, the following is told: "I saw the snares that the enemy spreads out over the world, and I said, groaning, 'What can get through such snares?' Then I heard a voice saying to me, 'Humility.'" However, there is a problem. If the attainment of humility becomes the goal, its attainment will become a source of pride. The snake eats its own tail. Meister Eckhart sensed this spiritual paradox, and in his examination of poverty he says the following: "A poor man is one who wants nothing, knows nothing, and has nothing. But the double bind arises when one wants to want nothing, when one knows they know nothing, and one has the having of nothing." Now I'm going to walk through the responses Meister Eckhart proposes to this problem, and as I do so, see if you can notice the resonances with Huang Po. First, on wanting nothing, he says that as long as a man still somehow has the will to fulfill the very dear will of God, that man does not have the poverty we are talking about. For if a man has true poverty, then he must be as free of his own will now as a creature as he was before he was created. On knowing nothing, he says, "We say it further, that a man who is to have this poverty must live so that he does not know that he does not live for himself, the truth or God. He should be empty of all knowing. For when that man stood in God's eternal essence, nothing else lived in him. What lived there was he himself. A man must be as empty of all knowing as he was before he was created." And lastly, on having nothing. If a man stands empty of all things, of all creatures, of himself and of God, but God can still find a place in him which he can work, then we say that man is not poor in the purest sense. For God is not longing for a man in which there is a place he can work. On the contrary, a man is truly poor in spirit only if he stands so empty of God and all his works that, if God willed to work in that man's soul, God himself should be the very place he wants to work. God himself being the place for his own work, this man in his poverty reaches the eternal being that he was, is, and always will be. For Meister Eckhart, the goal of the spiritual journey is mystical union, and this is how he describes it. There is a deep background beyond the mind, from which knowledge and love both flow. That background itself neither knows nor loves as the energies of the mind do. He who knows himself to be this background knows bliss. For him, there is no past and no future. Nothing can be added to him. He can neither gain nor lose. Therefore, he is also deprived of the knowledge that God works in him. Rather, he enjoys himself, in the way that God does. Let's compare this to how Huang Po describes the one mind. All the Buddhas and all sentient beings are nothing but the one mind, beside which nothing exists. This mind, which is without beginning, is unborn and indestructible. It is not green nor yellow, and has neither form nor appearance. It does not belong to the categories of things which exist or do not exist, nor can it be thought of in terms of new or old. It is neither long nor short, big nor small, for it transcends all limits, measures, names, traces, and comparisons. In the end, the Buddha is reported to have said, "I truly attain nothing from complete, unexcelled enlightenment." And this is why Eckhart prayed to God, that he rids me of God. Because God is already with us, as us, always. But it's our belief in the contrary, our attempts to separate and therefore imagine the ultimate. That is what leads us to think that we are incomplete. And it is on the cross that Jesus shows us the true way of humility. The way is the paradox. He is exalted through scorn. He has a crown of thorns, and his throne is a crucifix. His ascension is found through death. And so, whoever tries to keep their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life will preserve it.